Former ANC Women's League President Bathabile Dlamini is taking legal action over her party's decision, barring her from contesting for a position on the National Executive Committee. It comes after she was found guilty of perjury, sentenced to 4 years in prison or a 200,000 Rand fine earlier this year. She joins me for more. Ms. Dlamini, good evening to you. Thanks for your time. Your lawyers, of course, in the correspondence that is taking this action by the ANC, at least is legally taking action against this decision, says that they refute, or you refute, the contents of the letter used to expel you. What exactly are you refuting?
Kathy, I was part of the NEC where the Electoral Committee presented the rules of a conference election. And the National Executive Committee said the rules must be aligned to the constitution of the ANC. But also, we must all remember, there is no structure of the ANC that is above conference. If a conference says so, I will bow out respectfully. But if there is something that looks like perjury or political vendetta or some sort of bullying, some of us will have to stand up, because someone must put a stop to injustices. And that is why I'm standing up.
So let's just backtrack a bit in terms of where you believe the inconsistency is, because the letter, of course, by the Electoral Committee has said that you have been disqualified in terms of the conference rules that have been approved by the NEC, and that's specifically that people who have been found guilty by a court on charges of unethical, immoral conduct or crime or serious crime and corruption cannot be eligible to stand for leadership positions. So what about the decision is inconsistent with the ANC's constitution?
Because the ANC constitution, Rule 15, says when you've been found guilty and you have a fine, you continue being a member of the ANC. It's very clear.
But Ms. Dlamini, as far as I understand, you haven't been expelled as a member.
I have not been expelled. Members of the ANC, in the Constitution, members of the ANC have rights and duties. And it is my right to stand for the National Executive Committee. But also, it is the right of branches to decide whether they want someone or they don't. It's not the right of just a few people there to just go sit around the table and flout many procedures and processes. Why was the list released, Kathy? And why were our names put on the list if there was going to be a process thereafter?
But
why didn't they deal with the process procedurally, so that we all get satisfied and with the whole process? Why do you release the list before you then say to people, this is what we are going to do, you are not going to stand?
But Mr. Dlamini, it's no secret that the ANC has long been saying that it wants to hold its leaders to a particular standard including why we've been having this long-standing debate over the issue of the step-aside rule and the extent to which those that are found guilty or accused of serious crimes then should step aside if they're already in leadership positions. Surely what has happened, in as far as the criteria being used by the Electoral Committee, it should not be a surprise.
So am I the only one who has been to court in the ANC throughout the country? Or is it only 3 people? Or is it only 4 people?
I don't
Consistency, Kathy.
Yeah.
We've been talking about consistency.
Mm-hmm.
If you have laws that do not apply equally to people, you will always have problems. The laws must apply equally, and people should be treated the same way. And if we as members of the ANC and leaders of the ANC, we do not fight those things, they will continue happening. We must learn to be consistent and treat people equally.
So who are the people then that, in your view, are in a similar position to yours?
I'm not going to do that. That's not my duty. It's not my responsibility.
But you're arguing that the process is unfair.
They have vetted other people, Kathy, and you are the best people to know about all these things, because you always research about people and go and find about most of the things as the media. I'm not talking to you personally. So you know those people. But if there is injustice that is happening, we must stand up and stand for the truth.
So, Ms. Dlamini, the issue that we're dealing with here is that you, of course, have been found to have lied under oath by a court, and you were sentenced to either 4 years imprisonment or a 200,000 rand fine. Now, are you saying that the findings of the court against you do not warrant your expulsion, not your expulsion, but the fact that you cannot stand for a position on the NEC? Are you saying that it's not enough to discount you from the process?
Hetty, I think you've been reading about many things that have been happening. And surely you know that perjury is not a big issue. It is a minor case. In terms of the court, I'm not saying in terms of things that are being done, of people that go out and shout and talk about others. I'm saying it is a minor court it's a minor case in terms of the law. So if we follow the law, we all know that perjury is not a big case. It is a minor case.
Is this the standard that you think the ANC should be holding its leaders to? That somebody's found guilty of perjury and they said, well, actually, that's not such a big deal, so you can still be a leader amongst our ranks?
No, Kathy. I'm waiting for a day where you are going to call a man and ask these questions. Men that have raped women and you keep quiet, they go untouched. And because we are in a patriarchal country, women will be blamed when they try and put their case.
No, Ms. Dlamini, you're not going to do that.
No,
you're not
Kathy,
going to do
I'm
that.
Not going to
These
agree
are
to that.
these are simple questions. These are simple questions that I'm asking you, in as far as it relates to what your lawyers are arguing.
And ask this question to them. You always leave them, and you want me to feel guilty and feel sheepish when I went to court for something that is very minor, for something that was manufactured. I went there, I suffered a lot in court. So you want me to have a secondary oppression? I am not going to allow that. At least at this time, I can stand for my right, and it is my right as a member of the ANC to stand, and it is the right of the branches to decide whether they want to elect me, but also it is the right of the conference to take a decision that no, we don't want these ones. And I've said I will bow out if that is said by the membership of the ANC, because this organization belongs to the branches of the ANC. It does not belong to a few.
Ms. Dlamini, you can't argue oppression when the very purpose of this interview is to give you a platform to help us as South Africans understand why you believe you have been done wrong and the grounds on which you're opposing this matter in court. It can't be that when you ask questions to explain where the injustice is, you then turn around and say that the very question is an injustice.
I'm not conditioned, Kathy. I'm not conditioned.
Conditioned to what?
I have my own mind. I think in my own way, the way the ANC taught me to think, and I can analyze. The ANC taught me to analyze. So you can't
so then what is your analysis?
Platform.
So then what is your analysis of what's going on?
I've said so that there is no consistency, Kathy. There is no consistency. And you also know deep down in your heart that there is no consistency.
So that's the argument that you're going to be putting before the courts?
No, but how do I talk about what I'm going to say to court here?
Okay, so you're not going to tell us the argument that you'll be using then?
No, it is easy. If you don't want to hear it, you will not hear it. I spoke about the constitution of the ANC.
Okay.
What it says.
In terms of what you're arguing here, we of course have conference that's coming up in just a couple of days. How soon are you hoping that there will be a decision on this matter? And as things stand, are you going to be following processes within the ANC to try and have this decision overturned?
Yes, I have to do that. I have to start following ANC processes, then thereafter take the next step.
Are you confident that there will be a result before Friday?
I have to have the result before Thursday, because Friday it's the beginning of the conference, and anyone who wants to push issues up until Friday is someone who is stirring a disruption of the conference.
Have you received any response?
So I don't want to be part of that. I haven't received any response, but I know that my lawyers have sent the letter to the Electoral Committee.
Of course, you're not the only one who will not have the opportunity to stand. The likes of Tony Ngeni also discounted from the process. We earlier had Carl Niehaus, who's faced, of course, a worse sanction, which is being expelled from the party. He's also saying that he'll be appealing it. Have the three of you spoken at all about what is unfolding right now, and perhaps just the conversations that you've been having amongst yourselves?
Kathy, Comrade Tony is my senior. I actually sympathize with him because he went to prison, served his sentence, and secondly, he went through the disciplinary processes of the ANC, and he was suspended for 5 years. So must it be punished again after all this? Is that fair? Is that justice? That is what I thought about Comrade Tony.
All right, Bathabile Dlamini, we'll have to leave it there for tonight. Unfortunately, we're completely out of time for that conversation, but certainly something that will continue to unfold over the next couple of days.